my name's Rebecca Brockton and welcome to the Meet Magento UK YouTube channel. With me today, I have Eric Hileman, who's CEO of MageMojo, one of our wonderful silver sponsors. Can you tell me a little bit about MageMojo?
Yeah, MageMojo. So we're a hosting company. We specialize in Magento. It's all we host. We started in 2009, and we said, hey, look, we think we can do this hosting thing for Magento better than everybody else can. We saw a need for really good support deep into the application side of things and how that interfaces with the server. And we thought we could build some hardware better at the time. And we did, and it worked out really well. So that's what we've been doing ever since.
Brilliant. That sounds like a great place to start a business from. And what is it that you do there?
I'm the CEO, so I wear a lot of hats.
I have noticed that. Like, a couple of videos, I was like, I'm seeing some photos, and I was like, I can't find any photos of him not in a hat.
Yeah. I love my new Magento hat. It's my favorite hat now. And I've even got on one side here, I don't know if you can see it, the feather Telesh gave me.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I can see
I have to turn. Yeah. So thanks to Telesh for that. But no, I do pretty much just create the vision of where we're headed and distribute that through the teams and interface a lot with the customers, building partner relationships and channeling that feedback back into our products, because everything here is completely customer driven. So we build what we think the customers who are using Magento need. And I'm kind of the bridge between that, the external and the internal.
I love companies that are customer centric, and I think we get a lot of that in the Magento community, which is really great, and I think it helps us all be stronger. Can you tell me a little bit about the ethos of MageMojo?
Well, the ethos. So we are 100% focused on Magento. Like literally, you have to have a Magento store here to host with us. And our ethos is that support is our product. Yes, we provide infrastructure, and we do that really well. But I think our main product is really support. We sell support 24/7, 365, 15-minute SLA. You need to know as a store owner that when you're hosting with somebody that they're there for you and they have your back and they're watching over things for you. Especially when you get yourself into trouble, we'll come in and we'll look deep into Magento application and we'll tell you things like, oh, okay, you have this error, it's coming from this file, this line number, or you have slow performance, this is how it's interacting with the server, it's literally this file, this line number, here's what you need to do to improve it and how to fix it. So the ethos is just 100% support focused. We want to build products, but mainly provide the support with Magento and how it interacts with the server. Because everybody who runs Magento knows that it's a beast. It uses the resources very, very heavily. And you need to understand how that's happening in order to improve your performance. And performance is everything. And availability and stability as well. So understanding all of that is what we provide as value to the customer. And I think that's the ethos, is support first. Support is our product.
Magento is a beast, as you say, and hosting is a big part of how it performs and what you get out of it. So I think that it's really important. Is there anything about MageMojo that might surprise viewers?
I think the part that we only host Magento, that surprises a lot of people. There's a lot of companies who say like we have Magento specialized hosting, but they also have WordPress specialized hosting, Expression Engine specialized hosting, but we really do only specialize in one thing, and that's Magento. I think that's the most surprising thing for people.
Yeah, you absolutely are a master of it. How do you feel that your company fits into the wider Magento community?
That's a great question. So I think that we provide a lot of support structure for the SMB space. And people who don't necessarily have a whole in-house team of infrastructure people or DevOps guys, we fill that void for people to help them understand how the infrastructure should run. We advise people on load testing. We do load testing, and we say like, yeah, this will scale, this won't scale. This is what you need to do to be prepared for the traffic that you're expecting. And I think we fill that a lot, but also, I think as a hosting company, we generate a lot of revenue out of the community, probably more so than a lot of other partners in the community. And I think that creates a responsibility for us, almost a social responsibility, that we're we should give back. And we do that in the form of sponsoring events. We released open source extensions, like we completely rebuilt the Magento 2 cron. If you're running Magento 2, you really need our cron extension because it fixes a ton of issues that you may or may not even know that you have. So we release a lot of our code open source. We co-created the MageSec, magesec.org, which is the Mage Security Council. So we publish all of our malware findings, and we aggregate all of the community malware findings into a central repository for definitions. And then you can subscribe. So you hook the scanner up on your server, and it'll actually auto update from those rules and scan all of your files. So we're trying to pull security from all the hosting providers and aggregate it and share it for everybody. You know, security should be free. It's just a basic right at this point. So I think that's part of the social responsibility thing is you know, collaborating back open source. Our CTO is at the contribution days and hackathons and fixing bugs and trying to get our cron stuff back into the core. You know, we're doing the magesec.org, and then we also sponsor local meetups all around, major events, and just giving back, because we take so much from the community that if you don't give back, if everybody just takes, like, this won't exist, this can't exist unless we give back. So I think that's where we fit in as kind of thought leaders and social, almost kind of social responsibility advocates.
Yeah, and I think that advocates is a great word for it as well, because I think that you chose there at the end, because like you say, you do feel a responsibility. We do take so much from Magento and from each other, and it's nice that we all work in the community where we have companies like yourselves and individuals that actually do want to give back and collaborate. And I think that is a really great way that you guys do fit in, especially. And yeah, so what do you think are the best reasons to sponsor Meet Magento UK?
Well, the best reasons to sponsor are visibility and reputation. So when you sponsor an event, you kind of increase your reputation and your visibility in the industry. But again, I got to go back to the social responsibility thing, because the truth is, a lot of times, like for us, sponsoring events, we put out the money, and if we try to track all of the individual conversions that come back from it, it's almost impossible to track. So if you're looking at sponsoring an event strictly from what the leads you're going to get out of it, that's not necessarily the best way to look at it, because it's a long-term investment. People see you there, you get, you capture mind share, and then later down the road, when they make a decision to use your products and services, that helps influence the decision. But also, it's important to support these Meet Magento events, again, for community, because this brings community together. It brings people together to share knowledge. It fosters relationships. It expands networks. It's just a really, really important part of the community to have. So if you're taking from the community, this is a really great way to give back. But also, there are financial benefits as well that are long term. So while you may not walk out of the event with exactly as many leads as you needed to break even on your sponsorship, you will over time. So I think it's probably 50-50.
Absolutely. I think that the return on investment really, it can't really be measured over such a short period of time. It does need to be a long period of time, because yeah, it's like a quote from Imagine, you just have to keep showing up. And I think that is so important, that you do need to just keep showing up for it to actually benefit. Because if you do just go to one event and then don't do anything again, it's kind of like, well, what was the point? Credit to all of us that we do all keep showing up, and I think it's amazing, and we all do reap the rewards for that, and it's really important to see. How did you actually become involved in sponsoring Meet Magento UK?
We've come over to Mage Titans the last 2 years. I think the UK is the second largest Magento. Like, if you look at the built with list and you look at the number of Magento installations per country, the UK is the second largest. So we've been coming over to the UK for the last 2 years for Titans, I think that was the original Titans. And so now when Meet Magento UK came back, we were like, yes, absolutely, we want to be part of that. We love the UK. That's a big market that we want to capture. We have our Mojo Stratus product in the London region available. So that's definitely a place we want to be. And also, we have friends over there. We have a lot of friends. So we want to come see our friends.
Absolutely. I think that's another great benefit of events like this, is that the relationships you build do last forever, and it is more than just like, oh, you see them at at conferences, or whether everyone does become friends. And I would class everyone that I meet regularly at these events as friends, and I'm always looking to meet more friends. So yeah, it's a really exciting part for me. What do you think makes the Magento community such an important part of the e-commerce industry in general?
That's a great question. I think, well, I think the Magento community is why Magento exists at all. There's been, to be honest, there's been some great e-commerce platforms come out where they solved a lot of problems, but it's not a field of dreams. Like, just because you build it, they aren't going to come, like, you have to have a community behind it. You have to get that adoption, and having such a strong Magento community behind it, driving it, is important for Magento to exist. And the e-commerce industry in general, I think Magento, oh my God, like thinking back to 2009 when it was just OS Commerce, like Magento was insane. It was just, nobody's ever seen something so powerful and flexible when we were all using things like OS Commerce, which was horrible. And because of the strength of the community, when Magento went from 1 to 2 and had a lot of struggles there with the early Magento 2, it was the community that stood behind them and really backed that and pushed everybody to keep going forward with it. And because they've had the community to pull through that, I think that makes overall e-commerce industry stronger, because there's so much innovation long term. When you switch platforms and platforms come and go, you lose a lot of that knowledge that's been built up and accumulated over the years, and all of the extensions and all of the, even the developer knowledge around it. So having such a large community of extensions and existing code and people writing knowledge-based articles and all of that makes it easier for people to build their own e-commerce stores. That makes it easier for people to get into e-commerce. So while Magento is challenging in a lot of ways, it has great flexibility, and that price you pay is in complexity. I think the community has created such a large foundation that the knowledge and the code and everything has helped other people to get into the e-commerce industry, whether it be developers or agencies started to help build stores, or even just store owners having a good option to get online, and especially like the open source version. Being able to do something so powerful and so flexible for free, for just the cost of hosting, and you can develop it on your own or plug your own free extensions in to start your business. I think that's been great for the e-commerce and industry in general.
Absolutely, I definitely agree. And whenever I think about like the e-commerce, I like to think it's like e-commerce body, and then I would say that like Magento is the heart. It's the strongest muscle in the body, that or the tongue, the loudest muscle in the body. But no, well, I think we are such an important part of the e-commerce industry in general, and I think that we're only expanding that reach with every event and with every release and with everything that we do. So what do you think has been the biggest leap forward in the e-commerce industry so far?
The biggest leap? That's a good question. I think the biggest leap forward would probably be Magento. Just going back to what we said
like
about
waving that big Magento flag today.
people are gonna say I'm like a corporate shill just towing the party line. But no, I think it really was Magento. I think that was the biggest thing that happened in e-commerce, because there was such a need for it, and it just, everything that I previously described, I think was the big leap forward, creating such a large community and so much code and extensions, and the business, from anything from the agency businesses to the developers making money to the store owners getting started affordably. That was the biggest thing. And then later we saw, all the SaaS platforms come out and start to compete, and now it's shifting again, in the PWA, the front ends, and everything's, people have been saying it's going headless for a while. And actually I just saw that with BigCommerce is doing like a WordPress plugin or something. So it's shifting. It's definitely shifting. But I honestly have to say, I think Magento was the biggest.
I do love that, and I'd have to agree with you, especially when I look at my career and where things have gone for me, and like a lot of the people, well, pretty much everyone that I work with and interact with, Magento would be the biggest thing that's happened so far. But where do you see the e-commerce industry moving forward in the next 12 months?
Wow, that's a big open question. I mean, we could talk about Adobe and Magento and where that's going to head. I don't know. I guess everybody would say headless. Everybody would say PWA and separating the front ends from the back ends. And I like that. I like that because I think like front end development has become a whole industry in itself. Like you know, you're compiling front end CSS and JS like you would compile C code. Like it's like you need all these compilations and things. So I kind of like the separation of that, where you can separate the theming and not just your theme and how it looks, but also how the type of PWA framework that you're using. So now you have front end framework and separation. It's hard to say. A lot of people talk about conversational commerce. People talk about AI and chatbots. I think that stuff's still a long way away. Like we've tried to do chatbots like for our own support, and it's very difficult. I think like machine learning in general is just really human teaching. And who was it? Was it Bob Moore? I think he posted the Scooby-Doo meme where they pulled the mask off and they're like, who's the real AI? And it was if else, if else, if else. So I think, I think AI still has a long way to go. But the transformation of just streamlining the front ends, making them more lightweight, more persistent on your devices so they load quicker is probably the next thing we'll see. And then further down the road, we'll see more marketing features, with personalization and how AI ties into that. And maybe even the trend towards consolidation will drive personalization. So as people like Adobe buy up Magento, and then Magento taps into Adobe's marketing tools, you also tap into the data that Adobe has. And I liken it similar to with, for example, Amazon Pay. Amazon Pay already has millions, hundreds of millions of people's login information saved. So if you integrate Amazon Pay, or Josh Warren's one click with Braintree that taps into PayPal saved credentials, like you tap into all of that knowledge. So I think as things consolidate, you get into that personalization becomes heavier and heavier and heavier because you're tapping into those wider and wider data pools to draw personalization from.
Absolutely, you've got a lot of data there to actually base any kind of decision on. So yeah, I think there's going to be some big changes coming. But what upcoming changes in the e-commerce industry are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about, self-serving here for a minute. I'm most excited about just building a scalable, like unlimited, horizontally scalable Magento hosting platform on Mojo Stratus. A lot of people talk about auto scaling and they say we have auto scaling, but not really. You're oversharing cores that are in the existing chassis if no one else is using them. What we've built on AWS is a real horizontally unlimited auto scaling service. And we're pivoting now into the DevTools platform on Stratus 3. So why I'm excited about that is we've removed all the complexity of the hardware and running a store. Like, do I have enough CPU? Do I have enough memory? You never worry about that anymore on Mojo Stratus. Like, you just pay for what you use and it's always there. So shifting into that and being able to just tell people, yeah, your store just runs, it just works, it'll handle any traffic you throw at it, and here's a set of Rails to easily develop Magento 2. That's really exciting for me personally.
Yeah, and I love the name Stratus. I think that's really cool.
Oh, hey, that was Marty Simmons. You got to give him credit for that. He came up with that right away, and we all loved it. We're like, yes,
You've nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it. As a shopper, as a customer, I think the most exciting thing for me is I like, and I've been hearing a lot more about this, like the ship to store stuff. And I personally love just being able to get things quickly. I absolutely love free shipping. I love returns, especially my wife especially loves returns. She actually buys a lot of clothing online. And we had a Twitter thread about this not too long ago. Somebody was like, oh, I can never shop online. How do you shop online without trying things on? You order 3 or 4 things and then you use the free returns.
Absolutely. And then once you've kind of got it, you know what kind of size you are. So then you would just order them in different
Yeah,
sizes.
yeah.
And it's like, first you narrow down size, then you narrow
Yeah,
down color, and then by the end
yeah.
you've got a whole new wardrobe.
So I'm excited about that. I'm excited, that people are doing faster shipping. They're more lenient on returns, and also mobile. Going to mobile. Like I just saw an article that said Google's algorithm changes upcoming are favoring mobile first websites, and how it's everything's mobile first, and I like that too. I love being able to use a website in my browser. I absolutely hated an Amazon shopping app or any company that came out with their own app to browse their catalog and shop. I absolutely never liked that. But putting it in a browser and being able to buy and shop online on my phone in a browser, that really excites me.
You can tell the traction that it's got. It's gonna change the way that we all do things, and I think it's going to be for the better as well. Obviously, these kinds of conversations we're going to be having at Meet Magento UK, and I'm really excited about that because I get a real buzz from it. But why do you feel that attending Meet Magento UK is a good idea?
Attending the Meet Magento UK event it was really good, especially now after the Adobe acquisition. There's a lot of talk going on, a lot of speculation. I think now is really important to come out and meet with people and share other people's opinions and thoughts about where this is headed, and how it affects your company and how you can benefit from it, and create strategies around it. So, talking to other people that you wouldn't normally be connected to. And I talked to Kaylin about this on Twitter too, because Kaylin was like, why should you send employees to an event? Because we were, Matt Assay. Did I say that right? I hope I said that right.
I saw a tweet from Ben Marks. It's Matt
Assay.
AC. It's like
AC.
ACDC. That's
Yeah,
how
ACDC. Yeah.
like that's how I remember. Matt ACDC.
AC. Yeah. So we were talking about conferences and streaming, and if organizers should stream and if they should charge for it, and Kaylin was like, well, Matt was kind of like the content. The content's okay. A lot of times it can be salesy. A lot of times it's too short to get a lot out of it. But the content sets the conversation and the atmosphere. And then Talesh, who absolutely knows how to conference, he said, "Here's three questions. Here's three questions that you ask people you come up to, which is basically, what challenges you're facing, what are you interested in." And then that sparks more conversation. So you can meet people outside of the normal people you would talk to, and you'll learn ideas and thoughts that you wouldn't have had previously, and expand long-term, build existing relationships and make new long-term connections in the industry. But I think sharing knowledge and exposing yourself to knowledge and topics and thoughts and hearing those thoughts that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise, that's the real value. Especially now with the Adobe acquisition and everything happening, it's a great time to go to an event and expose yourself to that.
Yeah, I love that quote, like the content fuels the conversation. I think that is such a great way to put it, because it really does. You come out of a talk and you're like, wow, that was fascinating.
Yes.
What do you think? Or like, where would you take that? And I do think that is the value of that is just, it's not measurable. But what are you most looking forward to about me?
I'm most looking forward to seeing friends. To be honest, to seeing friends, and I love the UK. I've never been to London, so that'd actually be my first time in London. So that's exciting for me. And just meeting everybody, meeting old friends, meeting new friends, and spreading the love of Mojo Stratus around the UK. So.
Absolutely, and I'm really excited to see you there. And I'm hoping that London puts on its sunny hat for you, because it does look so much better in the sunshine. Have you got any closing remarks to finish the video?
Oh, no, I just want to say thank you. You're a wonderful personality. I really enjoy your videos. You absolutely do a really great job editing, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with you at Meet Magento.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. But yeah, look, you've made me all flustered now. I don't even know what I'm saying. No, I can't. I'm blushing. But no, thank you so much, Eric. This interview has been really great fun. I've really enjoyed talking to you. If you enjoyed this interview as much as I did, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss anything, and we'll see you at the event.